Yeah.
I could see Vince kind of being and like crazy old Vince is not the same guy as 90s Vince.
Yeah, that's true.
But then going to Triple H, get him out of here. And then Tripp's going, hey, we'll talk soon. He's
yeah. Exactly. Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into Ricky Starks. Absolute Ricky Starks was on the Chris Van Vliet's podcast. And this is what he had to say about his time in AEW and being spotted walking in with Cody Rhodes at the Royal Rumble, the previous Royal Rumble. He said, March was my last match. I've been home. I've been healthy. Never was injured. I did have a stinger. I got a stinger in that match against Top Flight in March. I got immediately checked out and everything was fine. But I was concerned at the time. I was just concerned at the time. So that happened. And then I was just home. That's kind of where it's been at. I've just been home. It's kind of a mind F because I'm in my prime and it sucks when you're on such a momentum, riding the wave, doing work and doing stuff. And then to be just at home for so long, you're kind of like, whoa, it kind of throws it off. I'm not meant to be at home. I'm not meant to be a homebody in this current phase of my life. I'm not meant to be just chilling at home and doing not the thing I've been busting my A to do for the past 13 years. And regarding his spotting with Cody Rhodes, he said, you know what's so funny about that whole situation? First off, yes, I did go see a friend of mine for his match, obviously, because it was an hour away. Secondly, they caught me walking to the bus. So like, okay. Third off, somebody who worked at Alamo decided to take a video, take that screenshot, and then post it. I remember the next day, Sunday, I woke up and this whole thing was blowing up. I was like, what is this? I had people from my job. I had one guy who was like, were you at the Rumble last night? I said, yeah, what the F about it? He says, just saying that's a bad look. How is that a bad look? I can't control someone taking security footage while I'm walking to a bus. I don't control that.
You think you know all the wrestling stories? There's more you haven't heard yet. Join us on Backstage Pass.
EC3, man, what do you think about this situation as far as Ricky Starks getting heat for just appearing with this guy at the Royal Rumble backstage?
To all the people that clip shows, don't take me out of context here, but I understand a talent was thinking, hey man, that's a bad look showing up at somebody else's show. I don't think it is. He's going to see friends, but I can see why talent think that, because sometimes that maybe to them, not to me, it looks like you're politicking for what's next, or would the AEW, would our guys show up, or would they show up to our show? Would Cody come? I mean, Cody's a different example, but would Cody come to AEW and wherever the hell to come see me? Well, he probably would, but I understand the concept of why talent might think that's a bad look. I don't agree with it. I think Ricky, if he does this right, can be one of the hotter names in wrestling, because all this attention is making him seem very much as a protagonist in the situation. He just wants to work. He just wants to do his thing. All these people are holding him back legitimately. It's not like that fake, I'm being held back in wrestling. Oh, I'm being buried in wrestling. Like, it literally won't let me work. So I think he can definitely run with it and make it something huge. If I were him, I'd be doing vignettes where I'm like locked in prison and just keep putting out like weird content and things like that. And one thing will something will have to give. Either this act becomes so hot with nothing behind it but my own social media and, you know, the wrestling fans talking about it, or they let me go and I go somewhere else and then I'm hot there. So I think it's a win-win for him if he can play it right.
Well said there. I think that's a great idea, by the way. Vince Russo, go back with me.
Free Ricky. Free Ricky.
Free Ricky. I like it. So go back with me. Imagine this, Vince. You have Shawn. You have Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, coming into or let's just say Shawn Michaels and Triple H coming into a WWE, WWF at the time, arena through the backstage, where the truck is. And Sean Waltman, who's in WCW, walks with them into the arena. You see that. You're one of the first people who see them, says hi to them. You see Sean Waltman. What's the first thing you do at that time?
Yeah, I don't do anything because I wouldn't have a problem with it. However, I was working with people that would have had a huge problem. Bruce Pritchard would have been on his bicycle straight to Vince McMahon's office. You know, Jim Cornette, a guy like Jim Cornette will have a problem with that. So the old school, for whatever the reason, really had a problem with that. I remember being at TNA, and I think Rey Mysterio showed up one time at TNA. Like, okay, you know, I mean, but old school, they got a big problem with that, Chris.
Got to stay kayfabe, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think so? If Pritchard would have went to Vince and said Sean Waltman's in the building, what do you think would have happened at that
Vince
time?
wouldn't have cared.
He wouldn't have cared. Yeah.
Nope.
Do you think like Vince would see the silver lining that, oh, people are going to be talking about it and we can allude to anything, or any publicity is good publicity? I think if it was in reverse though, and they're showing up to WCW.
Oh yeah, he'd have a problem with that.
They would have a huge,
Absolutely. Yeah. I think Vince really looked at it as friends just hanging out. I mean, honestly, but like EC3 said, if the shoe were on the other foot, he'd have a huge problem with that.
Why do you think he would?
Well, first of all, he legitimately looked at WCW as the enemy. I mean, he legitimately looked at it that way. So he would really, take that personally.
Yeah, remember what? Go ahead, Ace.
Yeah, I just don't think AEW to WWE is nearly the same environment as WWE.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there's no number two to WWE. There's no one's even close. I mean, they're in the record era, guys. So.
Yeah, indeed. Before CM Punk came back to WWE, there was that big buzzing story that he went backstage to, visit some friends he was nearby or something like that, and then some people told him that he, had to go. Why do you think that's the case? And he was just backstage to visit some friends.
Well, go ahead, EC3.
Do you remember who was allegedly telling him he has to go?
I thought it was Triple H.
That was still Vince time, though, wasn't it?
That was still Vince time, yeah.
I think that would be my only guess.
I think Vince told someone. It might have been Triple, but Vince told someone.
I would say, bro, if some of the, not even some, one or two, if some key top guys had heat with Punk, and they said something to Vince would have got him out of there before there was going to be an issue.
You don't think there was anybody at the time, though, right?
What now?
I don't think there was anybody at the time because Punk came back shortly after and was very well received.
There was some talks that he had heat with The Miz, but he patched it up during that moment.
Yeah, but I don't think The Miz would have made a difference. I think it would have had to be a top guy. Like, yeah.
I could see Vince kind of being one of the, and like crazy old Vince is not the same guy as 90s Vince.
Yeah, that's true.
But then going to Triple H, get him out of here. And then Tripp's going, hey, we'll talk soon.
Exactly. Yep. I can definitely see that as well. One thing I can also see is this trio delivering you the best content in the pro wrestling business. This is Sportskeeda. This is WrestleBinge, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't subscribed to Sportskeeda WrestleBinge, what are you waiting for? Be sure to hit that sub, ladies and gentlemen. Until then, the guns out, ladies and gentlemen, guns out. This is Vince Russo, former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, former NWA World Champion, TNA World Champion. That makes him an EC3-time World Heavyweight Champion. That makes him what club do we have?
KFC.
What was the gimmick?
Oh, the 7-Star Club.
7-Star Club, yeah. Seven Star Club. Yes, it is.
Jam it in. Just fits like a glove.
Yes, fits like a glove. EC3, Vince Russo. I'm Dr. Chris. This is the Wrestling Outlaws. Have a good night, everybody.
I like this show.